It is 11:55 at night. I got home from work about a half hour ago and I decided that I was going to rearrange my room, but I ended up making even more of a mess for me to clean up. Hello! As you can see, we are in my super messy office. I'm currently in the process of completely, oh my god, wait, my hoodie, of completely rearranging the entirety of my life. The past few months have been wild. I broke my arm in November of last year and I basically couldn't use my arm for like 5 or 6 months. I was able to do some tasks, but fine motor skills and stuff like that were very difficult, and I'm finally got my arm back. I'm really excited. And also I had a really terrible roommate who finally moved out last year in December, so the house has been quiet. I have more space. It's been amazing. I felt bad at first for being so happy that someone's gone, but honestly it was not working. And it was just a big stressor, and they're gone. Everything is so much easier. It's just been like, ugh, you know, and then life happened. I had a couple deaths in the family, a couple like friends passed. It's been insane the past like few months. But I decided, you know, things are getting better. I'm getting things on track. I need to focus on trying to get this space in order. So what happened was last night, so I decided to completely rearrange everything in here, which is why things are just completely piled up behind me. Everything is everywhere, because I'm actually going through and picking through everything in this room. Things that I'm not really sure about I want, projects that I'm not finishing. It's going to be, so it's kind of hard to pick through all the supplies that I have, because usually I'll get rid of things I haven't used in a while, but I messed my arm up, so pretty much everything in here I haven't used in a very long time. So it was more of just getting rid of things that like I haven't even used before the accident. My friends actually bought me a bunch of art supplies when I fell. It's kind of like a cheer up thing. So I took the time to go through all of those, see what I got, see what's going on with those. And I'm really excited because the supplies they got me were like on my wish list forever. I just didn't buy them because I was worried that I'd never get to them because I have so much stuff. But I took the time to go through it. I'm super happy. So I'm going to get rid of some of the older things I don't need, don't use, organize this space, and then see where I am. I'm just like, wow. It, like in the video, it looks like it's not a lot. There's actually a lot more supplies that they bought me, but I did start using them. It was just the things I'm showing you in this video are the things that I never got to touch at all until recently. And there's a lot of projects that I've started and I wanted to finish, but I cannot show you because a lot of legal reasons, an NDA or collaborations or just stuff for companies. So I do a lot of freelancing, so I can't show you personally, but the stuff I am showing you in video are all my own personal projects, so I can show you. So it doesn't look like a lot, but there's actually about, if you triple the amount of sculptures I'm going to show you later on in this video, that is the amount of the work that I have done for other people and on the side. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's just wow. I'm like, damn. It's like, it's weird because I know I didn't feel like I was going through a depressive episode. Like my health was just not good, and it was like, huh, you know, this is the first time in a very long time that my health has tanked. And I didn't have like a mental like breakdown about it. It was just like, huh, cool, wow, this is all right. Guess I'll just rest for once. You know, I'm in a position where like I don't have to work 16, 17, 18-hour days, 7 days a week to like afford to live. I'm comfortable. I can freelance. I work part-time somewhere else, part-time there. I freelance. You know, I'm not working my ass off, so I'm a little more comfortable. And it was like, okay, yes, finally need to rest. I'm glad I'm resting. I can like process this pain, literally process how much pain I am, and just function and live. It's like, okay. So now that my health is getting a little better, you know, I got my arm back, my back is fine, my knee is better. I mean, I'm going to need a knee replacement when I'm 50. Like that's a given. This knee is shot. So I think what I'm going to do now, just this video, as I said, is just going to be the few supplies that I haven't gotten to use, some of the sculptures that I do intend on finishing within the next few months, and again some other supplies that I bought myself. I didn't need them, but I bought them anyway. And I'm thinking about the next video possibly being just me attempting to set up and rearrange my jeweler's bench, because it's actually just an old janky computer desk that I've had in here that I'm trying to repurpose as a jeweler's bench, and it's going. It's not there, working out. So that's going to be my next task. The next few weeks, months is just going to be me getting this space in order. I think this week is going to be making it functional, a little more organized, but I do want to get this studio space to be nice and how I want it. You know, I'm going to be in Philly for at least another 2 years, and if I transfer to either Temple or Acadia University, then I'll be in Philly for at least another 4 years. But I'm really, really hoping that after I graduate community college that I get accepted and can afford to move to a different college completely out of state. I'm thinking of staying in New England. I'm applying to schools in Boston, maybe Rhode Island. I don't think I'm going to get in a RISD. Like that's a thing, but you never know. I'm going to apply anyway. I'm looking at Boston, I'm looking at New York, I'm looking at Washington, Oregon State. I'm looking at the South, but I'm not really sure if I want to be down South. And I'm also looking at California, even though California is still kind of like my wishy-washy list. But I don't know, we'll see. I'm excited. A lot of things are happening, a lot of things are moving. I am just like, let's get it. I'm excited. I'm finally I'm 27 and I finally feel like I'm starting to live the life that I want, the way I want it. The last 3 years don't count because that was whatever. But now I feel like, okay, my health is better, financial situation is a little better. I can finally enjoy my life. Going to therapy. Financial situation is better. My housing situation is better. I'm going to therapy. I'm getting in school. I actually enjoy school now because my family isn't involved. I'm going to school for me, and everything just feels like poof. I'm just like, wow, damn. I realized I was never really enjoying my life until now at 27. That is insane. But yeah, I'm sorry, I've been rambling on enough. Let's get into this weird haul situation thingamabob, whatever. So, Editing Z here, just want to pop in and quick add some little information. So a lot of stuff I have here in the haul I didn't buy myself. My friends came through and bought them for me as one birthday present and also a cheer up for breaking my arm. But I also decided to break this video up into several, and I mean several parts, kind of like an ongoing series of me trying to get this studio space to where I want it to be, especially if I'm going to be in Philly for the next 2 to 4 years, depending on what college I go to after community. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm super excited to show you all these things. So of course, as always, I have to have my epoxy sculpt. I always have backup. This is my favorite go-to sculpting medium. Of course, it comes in 2 parts, part A and part B. Part A is super easy and soft to work with. Part B is very, very sticky, so I tend to make it into little logs and slap it on the side of the container, just so it's a little easier to work. Next up is the Krylon UV archival spray. I kind of picked this up because I don't know, why not. I usually use the Golden Gloss spray, but it's been really hard to find this on shelves the past few months. So as stated earlier, I am trying to make aesthetic changes, so I got some really cute containers. These ones are heart-shaped, and I also have circle-shaped ones. I got these from when I need to make very, very large mixes of paint to cover large areas of canvas and watercolor. And I also use palettes, but these are just kind of cute. I don't know. I think they're actually sauce containers. I got them from the restaurant supplies section on Amazon. I usually just use, especially for watercolor and gouache, just some random ceramic plates I have lying around. Just go to any restaurant supply store and they're super duper cheap. But as you can see here, this is one of the watercolor palettes that I've used, and I think that paint blob looks like a ghost, and I really don't want to mess it up. I want to keep it forever. After this, I have my preferred brand of watercolor paper, which is the Fluid line. This is their mixed pulp line, but I also have their hundreds. So it's actually glued on 2 sides and open on the other 2. But honestly, this paper for the price is amazing. Since I do not like to use indie ink, I don't know why, I just don't, I actually prefer to use Sumi ink to do all my line work on watercolor and gouache. So I have this fresh new inkstone, and then I also bought a Yasutomo stick, and I think at Izuyu, it's a Chinese brand of ink stick. So the Yasutomo one is going to be pure black, same thing with the Izuyu. It's really good. I don't know, I'm still on the fence about this particular brand of ink stick, but as you can see, it's huge. I'm going to have this ink stick for a very, very long time. I probably just need a rougher inkstone to get the full use out of this particular brand, but so far I've been very, very happy with it. And since I do like to mix black and color inks for a lot of my outline, I bought this one from Kuretake. I think it's their Saiboku line. I bought the Prussian blue one, PB29. This is going to be mixed in with the black inks to get various colors because I do prefer very, very cool colors. And as you can see, it is blue. It is so blue. I got several sets of very shiny metallic paint. First up is the flip-flop colors from Fine Tech, and they're not coming on the camera. It's so hard to film these paints, but they're actually like a dual chrome look. I'm gonna swatch them later on in the video, but oh my god, these paints were really expensive. I mean, I didn't pay for it, but still they did. But all I can say is it is so worth it. This is the original set I have before. They're circle pans instead of the rectangular ones, and I also had some individual pans, but these colors are just like amazing. I use them to overlay on top of other colors, like base colors that I do. Sometimes I use it to overlay on top of acrylic gouache paint, and they work amazing. It is mind-blowing how good these paints are. I also got a couple sets of Gansai paint pans. The first one is from Boku Undo. The second one, this opalescent one, is from Kurotake. I'm actually not a fan of Kurotake paints. They have this weird gummy texture, but honestly for the opalescent, I'll just deal with it because they are so pretty. I got some extra gel pens just for school because I like gel pens, why not? And I also got a bunch of these Liquitex acrylic inks because even though I do prefer to use Sumi ink, I couldn't find the Sumi ink sticks in stock anywhere else. So I decided to get a few of the acrylic inks from both Liquitex and Amsterdam and did various colors I couldn't find. And I am so far liking them. I'm kind of on the fence about them. I think I'm a little biased because I do really honestly prefer to use ink sticks for everything. But these colors here, especially when they're thinned out, they work amazingly. So I got a Carmine, which is a really red, and I got this like pinkish red from Amsterdam. And then here is Ziller's ink. This brand I'm kind of on the fence about. I've been using this before and I used to be really big into calligraphy. So I got this in a nice purple, and as you can see, it's a very, very thick paint. You really shouldn't shake it up. I made a mistake of shaking it up. But they work. The light fastness of this particular brand is very questionable, but so far so good. Stocked up on some more retardant from Golden. If you couldn't tell, Golden is my go-to brand for all things acrylics and acrylic mediums. So I have a few tubes of Holbein gouache that I bought myself, but again, someone came through and bought me the full 24 set, which I am super excited about. There are 4 colors here I'm kind of on the fence about because they are fluorescent, so the light fastness is awful, but I have the full set and I'm excited. And then I also have this Magello watercolor set that I've been wanting for a while. I actually forgot to take this off of my wish list because I have several other sets, but this one is honestly, I'm really interested to see how these work because everyone talks about them being bad because they're mixed pigments, but these colors are so bright and punchy. Like for illustrations, Magello is my go-to. They are amazing. And look at that palette. That palette is awesome. I need one for all my other paint. So for acrylic gouache, I have the Japanese set from Turner. It has some extra gritty powders added to it to mimic the distemper style of painting known as Nihonga. And I also have their 36 set of the regular line of acrylic gouache, which is amazing. They're actually way cheaper than Holbein, and I actually prefer them over Holbein. And if you look at the packaging looks almost similar except for the kanji on the top and bottom. And even on the back, the packaging looks quite similar. So I see why people get confused and angry with Turner. So these are the only Holbein acrylic wash paints that I still own. And so I think a couple videos before I had actually showed you guys that I had made some silicone mold and resin casts of Gansai pans because I like them better. And I took the time to pre-label them with the name, brand, and pigment information of the gouache from Holbein, and I'm going to pan these up. These 4 colors here, these are the ones that have fluorescent pigments in them, so they're not light fast. I'm still going to use them for things I'm going to scan right away, but for permanent pieces, they're kind of bad. Ooh, that came out like poopy. Probably put too much in there, but oh well. So I'm just filling these pans I made with the gouache. I probably put way too much in there, but I don't really like using gouache fresh. I do prefer to use it dried. They're going to crack and flake out, but honestly, I don't really care. They're going to live in this drawer anyway. Okay, so I got my coffee. It's no longer iced, it's now lukewarm. We're gonna fill the pans for this one up. I can't remember if I put the tubes in this way or that way. This way? Okay, yep. Boom. Trying to level this out. I'm gonna throw all these back in this box for safekeeping. Keep it secret, keep it safe. Here's a little tip when using metallic paints. If you pre-wet the pans, you'll get a much thicker, consistent, even coating of paint. I have such a problem with Blick because every time I go, I buy way too many paintbrushes. So they have a deal. If you buy 5 or more open stock paintbrushes, you get them at a much, much better price. So I have a lot, and as you can see, Princeton's Velvet Touch and Neptune are my favorite lines of paintbrushes, so I have enough. I have enough that I have a full set of paintbrushes for every one of the mediums that I use, so there's no risk of me mixing my brushes together. But goddamn, I have so many paintbrushes, oh my god. I also bought a few larger brushes because trying to cover a large canvas or panel with a small 6 filbert is not fun at all. I'm still going to use my Velvet Touch, they are my favorite line of brushes. I just wish they were bigger, but whatever. On to a quick swatch testing of some of these paints I got. I'm starting off with the Kuretake Opal paints. Like, they are so pretty. The texture of this paint is just really off-putting to me, and I can't explain why, but like, if you look, they have this like really goopy, sticky texture to them. I don't know if it's the binder or not, but this one is from Boku Undo. You can see it's a very dry texture, and I think that's just from the mica pigments in the paint, but they still cover pretty well. It just, again, it's super gritty, so I'm going to make sure I use enough water in the paint. As you can see here, I put more water on the brush and everything flows nicely. Again, it's just a very gritty texture, but I prefer gritty versus that like gummy sticky texture of the Kuretake paint. The covers obviously show up better on the black than the white, but I think the white would be good for a nice overlay on some other areas versus the bright metallic of the black. And here you can clearly see the texture difference between the two paints. I mean, I'm not mad at it, but it's still kind of like, oh. So here I'm just showing off all of the paint swatched out on both black and white. Honestly, didn't expect much from this because I've seen some metallic paints that are kind of like but like here now they're so nice. Even on the white paper they stick out, and there's enough on there that's not just like this weird gray cast. They actually have a lot of color to them, which I'm really happy about. So I think I'm going to be using these not just on black, but on white paper or overlaid on other colors to enhance the effects of like shiny fabrics and shiny areas of the paint. And these paints are just like, damn. I believe the Fine-Tech one was like $50, but the Boku Undo and the Kuretake sets were about $15 each. And as you can see now, I was pretty lazy with the water application, so it's a little bit splotchy, but you can get nice even tones of paint, like full mass tones, metallic paints, and even thinned out areas with all three of these sets of paint. And I assure you it is worth it. If you don't want to get the Fine-Tech one, definitely get the Kuretake or the Boku Undo sets. So I'm just doing a quick swatch of the 3 ink sticks I got. I feel like, 1, I might not be grinding the ink as much, and 2, the stone I have is very, very smooth, so it's not really grinding the ink the way that I like, but I did go out and buy a new stone. But even here with this ink at like half strength, you can see that it is super black. The colors are amazing. Even the blue ink that's only about half strength is nice, and when mixed with the black, that color right there, that is my favorite thing ever. And I just did some quick swatches of all the watercolor paints and gouache that I have. This is actually going to go in my window as a kind of a light fastness test. I don't really care too much about light fast because I do scan everything in and edit it on the computer. But in case I do want to sell the originals, I am going to do a little test for myself. I may have gone a little overboard. So, as you may have guessed, Turner Acrylic Gouache is my absolute favorite brand of gouache, and I decided to buy every single one of their pastel colors. Why? I don't know. Maybe because I love them so much, and Jared Armoran actually had these on sale at the time. I believe they're around $2 to $3 a piece for the pastel ones, and then the metallic, the Limit Diamond ones were about $3 or $4. I think one of the metallics was $5, but honestly, I didn't care. I wanted it, so I bought it. So this is going to be it for this first part of this forever ongoing series. Here's a few clips of me going through the sculptures I have to finish, little bits and pieces from my jewelry event setup, and hopefully I can get the rest of these videos edited and out shortly, but you never know. Life is crazy right now. I work a lot, school's starting, but I really hope that I can finish getting all this stuff up because I do actually like making videos, and hopefully in the future my editing skills get a little better. Right now it's kind of basic, but I'm still having fun, you know?